Good morning, everybody. It's May the 2nd, and it's about 6:30 in the morning. I usually take Kira out for a walk. We do 2.5, 3 miles. I started using this harness that I borrowed from the kids, and she seems to be adapting to it well. I also have the e-collar on just for a little bit of obedience, which she's getting much better at. But I thought I'd bring the camera along this morning. We do this lake walk, it's called, and quite often we see deer, eagles, and different sorts of things. So maybe something will show up today, maybe not, but I just thought I'd show you a little bit about what we do and where we go here in the morning when we're isolated here in town. And yeah, it's a beautiful morning. It's supposed to be nice today, so we'll see what the day brings. So the city parks and rec department are responsible for the maintenance of this trail, and you see, well, garbage cans and recycling bins here, and on this side there's a little rack that has plastic bags for cleaning up after your dogs. But of course many people don't, and it becomes a bit of an issue. But most of the people pick up after their dogs, but every once in a while you gotta watch where you step around here. But they've made it easy, and that sometimes still doesn't help people who don't care about maintaining the walkway for others, I guess. Every half mile on this trail, and I think it runs, well, what they have marked off almost 10 miles. They have these little half-mile markers attached to the fencing. So if people are trying to figure out how far they've gone or whatever, makes it a little bit easier. So like I say, I think it's about close to 10 miles marked, and it makes for a pretty nice, convenient trail. Right now there's only a handful of people going to be out here, and usually it's the same group of folks around between 6:30, 7:30 in the morning. But today's going to be a nice warm day, and this trail will be flooded with people running, biking, walking, strollers, you name it. So I like to come out early with the dog, and before we get too many people. Off in the distance here you can see the bald eagle sitting in the tree, and then to the right in the big pine you'll see the nest. Every year they have this nesting pair of eagles that come back to this location. In fact, when they built the new high school here, they had to change some of the plans because of that eagle's nest and the nesting pair here. It's on the back side of the baseball field now, and yeah, they've been there for many years, as you can tell by the size of that nest. All along this trail there's little creeks that run down towards Lake Superior. And yesterday we had rain, so there's actually a fair amount of water coming through them, and the next day or two, if we don't get more rain, it'll probably be just a trickle for now, but I'll show you a couple others further down the trail here. But like I say, they're situated all along this trail since everything slopes down to the lake, and after a rain you'll see them flowing pretty good. So right here in this little area there's 5 deer, does and yearlings. Quite often on the walks in the mornings we see deer. I've seen up to 13 deer within our 2.5-3 mile walk. Of course, it's hard now to tell who's does and who's bucks, because all the bucks have dropped their antlers. Although it was in March, I saw a 6 or 8 point. I couldn't tell, it was off in the distance a little ways, but a buck still had his full rack in the middle of March or so. But I'm sure it wasn't too long after that and he dropped it. But anyway, today there's the start of 5 deer. Maybe that's all we'll see. Maybe we'll see more. Now this one here is called Tisher Creek and is one of the more substantial tributaries into the lake. In fact, people fish this down at the mouth. When trout and salmon spawn, they come up to the mouth of this river and stuff, come up a ways if they can, I'm sure. But this is flowing pretty good today. It's quite a beautiful tributary, and always fun to come by here when we've had some rains and see the water flow on and the sounds. And it'll quite often have the froth on the other side where it comes down the hill there. But yeah, just another beautiful part of the city that this Lake Walk Trail goes through. Different spots along the trail, there's these benches, and these have been purchased and donated by different families in memory of members of their family that have passed away. This particular bench, which is along Tisher Creek, which I just showed you a bit ago, is by the Pillsbury family. And Charlie, who's a grandson of Mark, who's this bench is for, played football with Stephen. So we know the Pillsbury family, and it's awful nice that they do this for folks. This is an interesting spot here. For the past several winters, there's been a huge black bear that's hibernated in this culvert. Now, I didn't see it this spring, but I saw it the 2 previous springs, and he's a monster. He's like, I'd estimate him at 500 pounds, and that's when he comes out of hibernation. So he's been a huge monster, and you know, when he comes out, he's groggy. He hangs out around the entrance of that culvert. People come and snap pictures and that, and there's never been an issue. But when I saw him, I made sure, you know, obviously we're on this side of the fence and that, but I didn't lollygag around too long, because you don't want to stress out an animal like that, and you're never sure what they're going to do when they come out of hibernation. But like I say, this spring I did not see it, but that doesn't mean he wasn't there. It's just I might have missed him. or he could have found another spot, but he seemed to prefer this location for a few winters. So that's it for today's walk. Took you along on the journey. You could see where we go, a little bit of the environment, and yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you. So everybody, I just want to show you something pretty special. April 15th, my granddaughter was born, and this is my first time seeing her. It's now May the 2nd, since we've been isolating from her since she's only a couple weeks old, but this is my first visit, and she is something else. Of course, she's doing what most babies do: sleep, eat, and poop. And we caught her while she's sleeping.